fact that Jovan comes on my show, okay? My show, and he preaches these picks, and then he doesn't even bet these games. I got to listen to him complaining that the Steelers destroyed a 5-team parlay and NBA props killed him, but he didn't trust himself last week. I want to know right now. Explain yourself to me, Jovan Alford.
Well, let me just say, first of all, glad to be back on the show with you, Rich, always. And I knew you were going to kill me about this, but I'm lucky I didn't get the ban. I'm happy about that.
No. I mean, it's almost like it's like a mini timeout with me.
Yes.
That's all it is, right?
Yes.
I get salty for a couple minutes, and then I'm over it.
Yes, for sure. But for me, what had happened, I forgot that the game had happened. And then by the time the game happened, I forgot to lock it in. And then I just remembered how bad the Steelers made me feel the previous week. But I will say, like I said on Twitter, I hope everybody else took those plays and made that money. Yes. So that's what it's ultimately all about for me. Everybody else, if I didn't play it, that's my bad. But, hey, if everybody else is able to get some cash, especially on 2 anytime touchdown plays, we'll take it any day of the week.
Yeah, you hit some nice props. I mean, I'm a little weary this weekend because last weekend I decided, you know what, let me play some of these 6, 7, 8, 9-point dogs. Did okay.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, I'm looking at these lines, right? COVID, no COVID. You got 6 games where it's 9.5 or more. And we always caution the listening audience, you don't need to bet these games, right? You don't have to. You got the Bills. You got Arizona, Miami, the Giants, the Eagles. Look at these lines. San Francisco. I mean, is this a product, some of it obviously with COVID, or because we've got some really bad football? Is it parity? Is it because it's already middle of December? How do you explain these? I think they're overblown, these lines.
Yeah, I agree. I think some of these lines are overblown, and I think the books are trying to get people to bet a certain type of way. And then, like you said, I think depending on the games, you know, there could be some COVID impacts, there could be some injury impacts as well. But like you said, there's a lot of, like you said, 7, 8, 9-point favorites for some teams that shouldn't be, 9-point, 11-point favorites. I mean, the Bills, even though the Bills played better against Tampa Bay, right, are they really 11 points better than the Panthers at this point in the season with the way they played? I mean, it's just you always want to. You never feel comfortable about laying like that many amount of points. And even if you look at a game like the Falcons and the Niners are 9.5-point favorites. Again, the Niners played well, but can we trust them to actually win by double digits?
Well, they're trying. Like I said, it's really trying to entice you. I look at this game tonight. The Chiefs, when they lost to the Chargers, were 6-point favorite at home. Now they're 3-point favorite on the road. That's telling me something. Like, I'm leaning towards the Chargers tonight.
Yeah, no, I think this game, like you said, there's a lot. I know earlier this morning when I checked the splits, there was a lot of public backing and money on the Chiefs for both the spread and the money line. So, I mean, going with the Chargers would not be a bad play because this team has started to play better as of late, especially offensively. They get Keenan Allen back, who was on the COVID reserve list last week. Now he's back this week. We've seen the Chiefs defense play better, but again, this is prime time, a whole different ball game. The same Chargers team that beat the Chiefs team earlier this season in Arrowhead.
All right, you look at this Eagles and Washington game, and I tweeted this out the other day. I mean, with everything going on with Washington, forget about even from a betting standpoint. If Eagles, you want to come out of there with a win. It doesn't matter if it's 9-6, 7-3. It doesn't matter. Just come out with a win. But if there's a week where you can actually rest up Hurts and start Gardner Minshew and just run the football, because Washington has a plethora of players that are not only injured but on COVID, especially defensive players, why wouldn't you just go with Gardner Minshew? Like, to me, I think that's the right move.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, especially when we're seeing, I think he has a ankle sprain, and those are very, they're difficult they're like almost hamstring injuries, right? They only get better with rest. You can't continue to play on them, can't continue to do, X, Y, and Z. So this would be a perfect spot to get Minshew in, and I think if the Eagles just, do that same game plan that they had against the Jets, right, especially offensively, which was run the football and, have Minshew do the quick throws, the screens, and things like that, they should be able to escape with a win against Washington.
I had to refresh something because now I'm looking at that Raiders and Browns. It's still sitting at 1. McMullen just tweeted out that, and a couple others, Keenum tested positive for COVID, which means, hello, Nick Mullins. He's in line to start Saturday. First, I mean, who's worse? Is it Mullins or Glennon in New York? Who knows? But anyway, how do you know? I mentioned this last year. Prior to the season, I said, man, I'm telling you, what's going to happen late in the season when the NFL has some of these games with major playoff implications and all these guys start to test for COVID? Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't it the Denver game last year where they had to stick that poor kid out there as quarterback? He was like a wide receiver. I mean, that game shouldn't even been played. It shouldn't even been on the board. And I guess I bring it up. I say that to say this. You look at the Browns. You look at Washington. I mean, you talk about competitive fairness and balance. You're not going to get it in these games. I mean, these are two teams that I'd be shocked if they're able to field a punting unit team come Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, no, it's getting bad. And like you said, you remember that game, and like I said, they threw Kendall Hinton out there. And he hadn't played quarterback since like Wake Forest, right? But that was like his early part of his Wake Forest career. And you look at this situation with the Browns, and I think a lot of people have been saying this over the last few days, like, what will it take for the NFL to actually pause the game and say, we're not playing it, right now? Because I remember, I think, early last season we had games moved to like Tuesday night and things of that nature because of, extenuating, situations and circumstances. So I think this could be the same situation, right? Like, you're going to put out a Browns team that's missing a lot. I mean, anytime a team goes down, like you said, now there's no Case Keenum to get down to Nick Mullins. Say if Nick Mullins gets hurt, right, or he comes down test positive, then what, right? What are you going to do?
Listen, I respect any bettor that puts money up out of their pocket, but I'm sorry. Some of these games, you would be a fool to play them because there's such uncertainty. Like now I'm getting people tweeting at me that, Jacksonville's going to win. This is the stick it to Urban Meyer game. Really? Okay, fine.
You can't go that far yet. Can't go that far.
I mean, really, this is what we're going to do now, the revenge game. I mean, come on, you're laying 4.5 against a bad Texans team. I mean, even some of these games, Jovan, where the total has dropped big time. That total in the Raiders-Brown game is all the way down to 38.5. Even though it's so tempting, I can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, Rich, sometimes the best play is the best bet is the one you don't play, right?
That's right.
And then this is the situation here where, like you said, a total of 38 points is like, that's good, right? Because you're thinking, all right, even if the Browns offense can't do anything, we've seen this Raiders offense, have some life on Thanksgiving, remember?
Yeah.
They put up 30-something against the Cowboys, and who can't say they can't put up 30-something against the Browns? But then we've seen this Raiders offense just, go to the wayside and not look completely good at all. And score 9 points, right? I did that last week. So that's a tough game. That's really a tough game to handicap from just a side and, and a spread and just from even a player prop standpoint. I don't even want to know what player props look like for that game.
If I gave you an option of taking a flyer, taking a ticket on Urban Meyer not lasting the season at, say, man, I'm trying to think what would have been a good, I would say plus 350. Would you have grabbed
it? Yeah. I probably would have took it without question. Just from the jump, the fit just didn't seem like it was the, right move, even down to like just the personnel decisions to drafting, we can go back into the draft, not Trevor Lawrence pick, but just drafting Travis Etienne when you have a guy.
Horrible.
And James Robinson had a good year. So when you see that and then everything else that has now transpired after that, I would have took a bet without a question of a doubt.
I mean, first of all, this guy hires a strength and conditioning coach that's a bigot and racist. Then he has a couple hot toddies and he rubs up against a girl that's like 17, 18, whatever. Then he decides, I'm not going to take the flight with the team, which is a fireable offense. Then he turns around and allegedly says to the coaching staff, I've had effing better coaches at Bowling Green. And then you turn around, no double negative, but you kick a kicker. I mean, like, it's so bad he's just like, he is a bully. He is a clown. Like, this should have been done. I said he should have bb't fired. I think they were 0-4. And apparently he made the statement like, oh, it feels like we're playing Alabama every week. I mean, you should have gotten rid of him.
Oh, yeah, I remember that statement. Yeah, that was just a bad statement to say. Like, it's the pros. What do you expect? You're not going to play against the, a New Mexico State, every week.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad. Listen, I know I got you for a couple more minutes. Real quick, give me 2 or 3 games you like this weekend. You're confident that you can play or you will play.
Ooh, that's a good one. I think I'm going to play something in tonight's game. I'm definitely. Let me just say this now. I'm going to back my play.
Yes.
On Travis. I'm backing my play. I laid it down. I'm going Travis. I'm playing a prop in the Chiefs Chargers game. I'm going to take Travis Kelce anytime touchdown, which I think it's a plus money in some books. So I think I'm definitely playing that. In terms of just this week. I might play the money line in Pittsburgh, Tennessee, because we're seeing that teeter between -1, -1.5, and I think that could be a spot. I think the Titans could end up winning that game, right? Just with the way they're running the ball. We saw how the Steelers just got bludgeoned, last week by Dalvin Cook. So I think that be the game, and I would. Honestly, I would say Bengals-Broncos could be an interesting game that I might actually put down something on as well.
Interesting. I feel like I'm bullying you right now on the air to make picks, and that's not. I feel like I'm Urban Meyering you right now, and I'm not.
No.
You won't stand for that. So you think the Eagles cover the number 9.5? I think it'll close at 10.
Ooh, a 9.5. Oh man. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
honestly,
let me say this: if Minshew starts, maybe it drops a little. Maybe it's played down.
Yeah. If Minshew is named the starter and the spread drops to like 7, then I would say the Eagles cover that. But 9.5, I just don't know, especially because Washington. I think Terry McLaurin is on the verge of playing. On for Sunday, and then they sold Antonio Gibson. And defensively, we know this Eagles defense can be up and down. We saw them give up a couple of big plays against the Jets when they played a couple of weeks ago. So right now, I would side taking Washington on the spread at its current number at 9.5.
All right, sounds good. Jovan Alford at Jovan10, staff writer at DK Live. And don't forget, TotalSportsLive.com joins me every Thursday at 5:05 right here on AM 1490 Sports Betting Radio. Hey, I hope all your bets are prosperous. And remember, if you tweet it out, you better back it up.
Yes, you got to. You got to back your play, especially on this show, right? That's the name of the game.
You got it. All right, Jovan, I appreciate you, pal.
All right, have a good one.
All right, you got it. The great Jovan Alford joined us for a couple moments. Lake Lewis on the other side. Jovan's great. He's fantastic. Great personality. He knows his stuff. Good follow on Twitter. Really insightful.